Hello, and welcome to Mostly Off Topic Plays the One Ring Second Edition. Oh gosh, what episode is it? Somebody help me out. Episode 9? Welcome to episode 9. Joined by most of the usual crew. This week, unfortunately, Nick is not able to make it because Barnack is having to do tours of a castle. Probably just in inspecting it, pointing out the architectural stonework elements around. So unfortunately, he can't make it because of those responsibilities. But I'm joined by everybody else. Say hi, guys.
Oh. Hello all.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Good stuff.
Hi.
It's good of Matt to start with his boom mic well away from his face to start with, so we can kind of get in the usual reminder there. Excellent. So
it interferes with my coffee.
So, last session, the cold, dark marsh, the ruins of the kingdom of Arnor, the shadow playing with the history of the Dunedain, twisting it to its own dark ends. Also Tolman. So, some swings and some roundabouts. Our player heroes ventured into the barrow of the king, who lost his life fighting the Witch King many, many years ago. Allied with the Tharbadians, you ventured in. The Tharbadians aiming to recover the family members lost to them. You guys aiming to recover maybe some treasure, possibly? Within the darkness of the barrow, you found the Witch King had been here once more, this time to mess with the dead, those that should be rested, beyond the messing of mortals, but not beyond the dark, sorcerous ways that the Witch King employed. Until such a time as Arthaniel rammed his spear straight through his head, and Esteldor destroyed the animated corpses of the Tharbadians. You found a sword and a crown, regal weapons, but more symbols of a power that has waned, possibly against Arthaniel's desire, but certainly in tune with Esteldor's better judgment. You decided to leave them there and seek counsel from those more experienced in these ways. And shaken, certainly Gabe was shaken, definitely not stirred. He left, and you rejoined the group. Having accomplished your main purpose, which was to find out where the treasure map led, you decided to go about your ways and then return back to Bree for the late summer, early autumn, before heading to go and see the real, genuine Bilbo Baggins. Spoiler, not Tolman. Or is it? Gudrun, Thomas, Barnack headed off to Dale. Arthaniel and Esteldor to the north to seek their people. Tolman and Gabe back to Bree. Tolman and Gert back to Bree. What can possibly go wrong in Bree upon their return? So we finish the adventuring phase. We move into the fellowship phase. This is the first fellowship phase that we have been in. This is, I think, the first fellowship phase I've ever run in 2nd edition. I don't think we ever did a fellowship phase in the old campaign, actually. Maybe one. So maybe none. So we'll just step through, I think. So fellowship phase is kind of like in between being out on the road, and we're kind of playing a little bit loose with this fellowship phase. Firstly, we're playing a little bit loose because ordinarily I think there's an assumption that the fellowship typically remain together in a fellowship phase within within the calendar year kind of thing. Maybe they go their separate ways towards the back end of the year. But we're going to allow everybody to kind of go where they want to go. And we're breaking a little bit of a similitude by allowing people to go a bit further perhaps than would ordinarily be the case. But yeah, that's all. It's all fine. I don't think there's anything substantially wrong with that. And we're going to say that this fellowship phase is going to cover... So the first thing is we set duration. This fellowship phase is going to cover probably 3 to 4 months worth of time as the game time moves forward. And we're also going to allow each of the player heroes to have 2 undertakings. They can do their class undertaking, and they can do another undertaking. So it's almost like a Yule fellowship phase without necessarily being in Yule time. And mostly that's just to allow everybody to just get a few more undertakings under their belt and build a little bit more of their character. And in fellowship phases, what I like to do is I like to just kind of like go around each of the players and let them have a little bit of spotlight, a little bit of limelight for their character. Either they can run us through a story that they've kind of like written about what they're doing and weave their undertakings in, or we can kind of do some little vignette scenes as kind of like things ebb and flow. It makes it really hard for me to prepare fellowship phases because I actually don't know what any of these guys are planning to do. So we'll just have to roll with it and see what kind of comes out. But you get these really lovely little scenes that kind of play and generate some additional depth to each of the characters. So that's what we're going to do. So we've set the duration, choose destination, so we know where everybody's kind of like going. And then the players get to spend their accumulated experience points for skill points and adventuring points. Then you perform those updates and you choose your undertakings, and we work through the undertakings. People also recover hope during a fellowship phase, and I think we'll do that when we're doing the perform updates section of the fellowship phase. So you've achieved your goal, and you kind of met on the road one last time away from the marshes, and kind of you agree the plans of action, and you kind of like head off. So everybody's going to get 15 skill points and 15, is it adventuring points they're called? APs? Skill point and adventure points, and you get 3 skill points for every game session you attend, and 3 skill points for every 3 adventure points for every session you attend. However, I don't like to punish players who, because of life scheduling events, just can't happen to make a session. So everybody's going to get 15, irrespective of anything else. Also, just keeps the characters kind of like at a similar level. Otherwise, people whose life doesn't allow them to commit as much, kind of like their characters get a little bit behind, and it can create lore master challenges. So you guys get to spend those things. So what we'll do is we'll just cycle around each of the players. We'll go through what they want to do, and if we've got time, and I would imagine we'll then kick on with the next adventuring phase. So who would like to kind of go first? Who'd like to lead us through? So I think
I'll just ask about Tolman, because he's joined the group afterwards. So ostensibly 2 sessions.
I'm happy for you to do whatever you feel is right, Joe. So you can either take 6 or you can take 15, because you'll have been adventuring to get to that point.
I think so. What I was thinking is, because in the Strider mode rules, you also get experience points. So I was going to take my 3 each for the Strider mode stuff I did.
Yep.
And then I'll take 6 each for the 2 sessions that Tolman's been with the party.
Sounds good to me. Excellent. Okay. So who would want to go first? Any volunteers? Am I rolling a feat dice?
I can go.
Okay, go, Arthaniel. Yeah.
Throwing themselves under the bus, I can do
under
it.
The pony.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. I'll start with a question, which is a bit classic now. Is it too much? Because I've been texting with Esteldor a little bit about the strategy for the Rangers. So is it possible that we could have gone back? I mean, it's because if we want to play going back to the tomb, I totally understand that. That's fine. I'm happy to do it. But if it's not that relevant for the broader story.
So
Basic.
So what was the question? So I don't understand the question.
Yeah. So the question is, if we're doing this Yule kind of event,
Yeah.
I have my undertaking is gather rumors, and I will talk you through how I'm doing it.
Okay.
But also, I noticed as a treasure hunter, I can get this free undertaking of study magical weapons. The crux is that I have to be in the possession of a magical item, which I'm technically not.
Yeah,
Yet,
okay.
I
So if your
guess.
question is, could you go back to the barrow to study the sword and or the crown, then yes, you may do that.
Yeah, but that then means, does that affect then me going with Esteldor? Because I would have, I wanted to do this phase in whatever the ranges are. So
Yeah,
you're
so-
saying I could take a detour on
Yeah,
the way,
yeah.
pick up the sword.
Well, do you want to pick it up or do you want to study it in situ?
Oh, I can. Let me just read this up then. Yes, so Esteldor, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I think initially I like Paul's idea. We could have a little detour, stop there, open the gates and everything, do a little study session, and then be on our way once we know a little bit more. Is
Yeah,
that
sure. We can do. Yeah, it's okay. We can do our own thing then, can't we? After that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
because
So-
the
Okay.
description is very sort of brief.
Yeah, that's fine. So let's do this then. So let's perform the update. So let's spend any skill points and adventure points that you would like to spend. But you also recover hope, and you recover equal to your heart score. And is there any reason why it would be any more than that?
No, well, my hope, because I spent quite a lot in the last session, so I dropped down to 7.
Yeah. So you
And I also got 3 shadow points. So I don't think it matters. So I just wanted to mention that this Allegiance of the Dunedain gets me back basically during a non-Yule fellowship phase. I think it's in addition then, because I don't think it's instead of, because it wouldn't make sense. It
Right,
gets
so-
me half of my heart rating rounded up.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's an addition, is it? Makes it harder for them to put their spirit at ease even when enjoying the respite from adventuring. So I think you only recover half.
If
It's not 1.5 times, you recover half of your heart.
Okay. In which so that's kind of like a disadvantage then,
Yes.
by being a Dunedain. Okay. So I will then get hope at 10 rather than 11.
Okay.
For the skill points, I'm not doing an awful lot. I will spend 12 points to get travel from 2 to 3. That will leave me with 3 skill points, and I want to save adventure points for later.
Okay. Excellent. So you're going to head back to the barrow in the marsh.
Yes.
Okay. And the undertaking.
Just sorry, before we get into that, just on the technicalities and points, because it says about spiritual recovery, and it says you can get 1 or 2 points. Sorry, have a reduction of 1 or 2 shadow points during fellowship phase. It's page 119. There is this spiritual recovery if we have done
If the heart core.
less. Or
Then if an adventure is then what comes in the foot. Oh, okay.
It depends on how much we opposed or hinder the enemy plans.
Yes. So it's kind of your judgment, I think, Paul. I'm happy with 1 or 2. Anything that gets me the 3 down to whatever.
So if the company's actions can be considered to have at least marginally interfered with the return of the shadow, then you get to remove 1 shadow point. And if you committed feats that will gain the attention of the Dark Lord himself, then you can do 3. I mean, the Dark Lord himself's having a right laugh with you guys, but other than that... So as a group, what did you do What do you think you did to stop the return of the shadow?
In the entirety of the adventure phase?
In the whole of the adventuring phase, over the last 8 episodes, 5 sessions of play.
Lots of laughs.
Some people got hurt, I think.
I mean, we stopped a dwarf who could have like stolen the treasure and caused like ill will, and we did, and Arthaniel and the rest of us stopped the white. Who would have probably risen more dead soldiers, maybe.
Yeah.
We showed Thomas how to gather firewood and collect mushrooms, turning him into a man.
That's right. Okay.
Oh yeah, we saved him from the troll. Didn't we?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm okay with 1 point. I'm okay with 1 point because I think defeating an agent of the shadow in terms of the wraith in the white, the barrow white, but also I'm kind of like reasonably happy with taking Thomas, who was a petulant, difficult individual to start with, and kind of like helping mold him into a better member of society, for want of a better phrase. Yeah. Okay.
No, he was lovely. He was such a good lad.
In the end. Yeah.
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 Well,
Okay.
Will we speak of all of Gert's lost sausages?
No, we
And what that's worth in the greater.
We
Did you keep the receipts? That's the
No.
biggest.
we keep the sausages out of this, I think.
All right.
Okay, so yes, you can all remove 1 shadow point.
That's very kind. Thank you. Sorry, I borrowed this
Yeah,
detour.
1 shadow point. No, that's fine. Okay, cool. So 119. Right. So now, what undertaking you want to study magical items? Okay.
Yes.
Flavor text. This is an heirloom of our house, said Erwin. It was made by the dwarves and came from the hoard of Scatha the worm. There we go. When heroes come into possession of a strange ring, an ancient jewel, or a rune-scored staff, they might not know much about their properties, especially if they're not immediately observable. Choose this undertaking to learn all there is to discover about the qualities of all marvellous artifacts and wondrous items in the company's possessions. A company including a treasure hunter can choose this as a free undertaking. So this is your class undertaking. Okay. Right. So you can choose the sword or you can choose the crown to seek to study.
Yeah, I think I don't want to cause any further frictions within the team, so I'll just stick with the sword. Thanks.
Sword. Okay. So you head back into the marshes. It's as muddy and cold and wet as you remember. Back to the barrow, the signs of the Sarbadians still around. It's going to take a while for it all to settle back in. You break the barricades that you erected and once more head into the cold chamber. Down to where the sword and the crown rest. With a bit more time available to you and a little bit more thinking space across the course of days, which run into the week, which run into a couple of weeks, you study the sword, recall stories from the past. How much are you picking it up and touching it, Arthaniel?
So being aware of what happened last time, as minimal as possible, but I do understand that some properties or some, there needs to be some sort of contact where I'm, testing it or trying it. But yet I'm being mindful that this could be a very powerful weapon, and I don't want to be, put in a position or I don't want to get in too much trouble.
After the first couple of days, Arthaniel turns to Esteldor. Stand out of the barrier, Esteldor. Block the entrance, so that if it does take me, I do not slay you.
That's plausible. I think that's... Yeah.
A week passes, Esteldor.
Sitting outside, just a little campfire.
You worry a little for Arthaniel. Eventually your worry grows so great that you once again detach the barricades and go in. Arthaniel is laid in the centre of the barrow. He's sleeping with the sword. He clearly was not able to just gingerly, every so often, touch it. He's not dead, he's just sleeping. Words are escaping his lips. His eyes shuddering in his head, and every so often his back arches slightly. Arthaniel, your studies of just looking at it didn't really give you much. A fine weapon, old, forged by men, but men who had carried the wisdom from Numenor, perhaps, from beyond the sea. Runes are inscribed upon it, but they describe names that you recognise from stories but don't have masses of context with. It's definitely got a very fine edge, definitely worthy of a great amount, and definitely appears in the pictures around you. And as your curiosity overcomes you a little, and you start to touch it more, and you can feel less of the presence. Whatever has agitated the dead here is moving, slowly seeping away. Dreams come to you. Dreams of standing beside the king in those final moments. You see the snapping of the banners as you march past Weathertop. You see the darkness rising, the teething hordes of orcs. Mounted, you sweep around, you come down upon them, you break them, and then you are hacking and slashing. You can hear your king's cries. Down falls the banner. Up it rises as the king gathers it. You fight to his side. You see the sword that you see in front of you, flashing, smashing, covered in blood. And you fight your way. The king takes a blow, a mortal blow. You drag him from the battlefield back. But all the time, your eyes are being focused upon the weapon in front of you. It carries a number of qualities. It definitely damages orcs and their kind far more than would be expected. It's also great edge, sharp, piercing and slashing, cutting through armour as if it wasn't there. But more than those qualities that it possesses because of its manufacture, it's a symbol of times gone past, and a symbol of valour in the field of the enemy. The kind of symbol that people could rally around. Returning this to your people would be a great deed. Keeping it for yourself would equip you with a wonderful weapon. But there's always a little bit of an edge, a noise, a couple of eyes just peering around the edge to see what is befalling this. Its history is one of great pride, but in recent times it has been owned by something dark. So after that period of time, you come to realise that it has superior keen and is a bane of orcs. But there may be some risks associated to wielding it yourself.
Okay. Yep. That's really good. I think once I'm able to wake up, I will just package it, in some cloth and some sleeping bags, wrap it round and place it in my rucksack.
Esteldor
For
pours
transportation.
cooling water down your throat, and the fever subsides after a few hours.
Thank you, Esteldor. This has been a great undertaking for me. Almost too much to handle. I haven't made my mind up yet about this sword, so let's journey. I mean, once you finish studying your item, are you studying your item, Esteldor, or?
Sorry, my computer frozen. Sorry, what did you say?
It's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I wasn't sure whether are you taking the crown, Esteldor?
I don't know if I should really.
We can
Well,
always
first
just
phase.
drop it off. We can take
Yeah,
it
well-
both, take it to the Rangers, and then, because at least for now, even though I've tried the sword, I could change my mind, it doesn't matter, but at least my intention still is at the moment to take it to our people, at least have somebody else do it, check it and so on. I have frozen Esteldor.
Esteldor stands and thinks,
Yes, yeah, that's...
weighing up the pros, the cons, wishing he'd actually just smothered you with a pillow. Oh, he's back.
Let's.
Clearly, this weighs upon him greatly, and he finds it difficult to speak, to articulate. Oh no, there we
Don't
go.
go on, let's keep you.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the barrow,
yeah,
others are using the internet and causing Esteldor a great deal of difficulty.
I think so, yeah, it's strange. What is this witchcraft?
Is the crown Esteldor?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I can take it back with us, yeah. I won't
Okay.
study it myself, though, because I'm not skilled in that sort of thing.
Yeah. And please don't ask me to study it for you then. It'll be all fine. Okay, so do you want me, Paul, just to run it to the end of the undertaking then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thank sort of Esteldor. We travel both together. I now have better travel, so hopefully I'm not falling too much behind the party. And my normal, if you like, undertaking is to gather rumors. So I'm going to wherever Esteldor is showing me. I know I have experience, but I haven't had too much contact with people on the West. It's been mostly remote locations and different kind of missions that I've been involved in. So I switch on kind of listening mode and watching mode. I want to learn about local knowledge, help out whenever I can with the sort of local missions, but I'm mostly interested in some legends, about some treasures, maybe some myths, and so on. So that's kind of the whole summary behind my undertaking. I want to join the group in the north and learn the area, learn the people, because I'm kind of new here still, so I'm greatly aware of that.
Okay, so there's not anything specific that you want to just follow up on. You're trying to keep your ears down around more general news.
Yes, nothing out of the ordinary. I want to build a good rapport with the Rangers this side of the Eriador. Again, trying to be sort of proactive and helpful, So if someone needs some sort of mission, taking somebody's, I don't know, rescuing somebody's tomatoes and things like that, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'll put my hand up basically, whenever there is a need for a ranger. But learning and understanding the area, because like I said, I'm fairly new. At some point, I would want to speak with some elders once I get to know them. to seek their advice
Okay.
on what to do with the sword, I guess. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay. So the gather rumours then undertaken won't give you much information or further information about the sword in particular, and there's no elders around that are specifically available for that. The main consternation that that's occupying the ranges of the north at the moment is concern about the Far Downs, which are the area between essentially the Grey Havens and the Shire, and there's been increased wolf activity there, and there are stories coming out of the Shire of hobbits that have been on the edge of the Shire, the so-called bounders. Some of them have gone missing that side of the Far Downs. And the Rangers are concerned what this might mean, because ordinarily that's not actually the most dangerous area. So there's discussion around what that could mean, and discussion about maybe sending some individuals out to look into what that might be, moving a little bit further around that end of the Shire.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's very useful. I mean, I'm reading here that when you take this undertaking, you give me a rumor. So that's kind of, yeah, exactly that. A nice potential mission that I can just perhaps take my party to.
Yeah, that's right. So the area between the western end of the Shire and the White Towers as you head towards the Grey Havens, bounders missing, bounders reporting increased wolf activity, general rumours coming from that area of unusual and heightened danger.
This is just past the, what you called, White Downs.
The Far Downs.
Okay, to the west, I
Far
see
Downs,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Cool.
Okay, anything else, Arthaniel?
I'm still thinking about this sort of sword. But how big is the structure of the Rangers here in this outpost?
There's probably about 40 Rangers of varying kind of ages and capabilities and experiences.
Because at the moment I'm weighing in whether to ask. I mean, whether there's anyone worthy or senior, sufficiently senior to give me sort of a decent advice on this.
You don't think so? Not here. You'd have to possibly go elsewhere and follow up on that specific question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And in that case, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So thanks for that. In which case, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who would like to go next?
I can.
Okay, Tolman.
Yep. So, the destination is Bree with Gert. I'm assuming they travel together.
Yeah.
And how long is the fellowship phase roughly? A couple of months?
About 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, July into probably early October.
So the first thing is Tolman has no fellowship focus currently. So I will choose a fellowship focus and I'll make it Gert. It makes sense. Gert was the first person he met from the party in the Midgewater Marshes when he was up to his belly in bog water.
Yep.
And in a bit of a pickle. And yeah, traveling to Bree just kind of solidifies his focus on Gert in the fellowship. And then I'll spend 8 adventure points to raise wisdom by 1. And I will take the Art of Disappearing Virtue. Because Tolman's stealth is 3, so it seems to kind of fit with his shenanigans hiding in the woods. And I'm sure it'll come in useful. And then in terms of undertaking, in Bree, Tolman will spend a little bit of time kind of walking around the hills behind Bree, following the streams and rivers and exploring the land, but also spending a lot of time visiting Bilbo's relatives who are still holed up at the Prancing Pony. And speaking with them and singing, celebrating with them, and he will write a song, and the song will be a walking song.
Very cool.
Based on his travels from the Shire to Bree on a very important messenger mission from Bilbo Baggins, and then on to the Midgewater Marshes at the height of summer. And, he'll sing about having midges in his breeches and dreaming of a pint or two of Barlaman's finest. Keep it light, keep it simple, really.
So it'd be like, I would like to have a pint of dayberry, 'cause I am feeling a little weary. I can get to the Prancing Pony, and there I'll have something stony. Maybe not stony, I'll have to think about that.
Something golden coloured and light. Take my mind off all these midge bites.
That's the one, there you go. Good stuff. I love songs, I think they're great. I can't sing, but
I'll give it a name.
yeah, you have to. Yeah. The song index. Cool. So if you get a song with song title and lyrics, Travelers. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you're writing that song. Wonderful. You're staying up at
You can stay with Gert.
house. Yeah. There's an undercellar, so you can stay with the Hobbit family that shares that space.
You
can stay in Gert's house. There's room.
Yeah. Tolman would take you up on that offer, definitely.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Tolman?
No, I think that gives you enough.
Yeah.
I'm in Bree.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
Well, we can just roll into Gert.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I think naturally, Gert is going to spend a lot of time in the summer with Tolman.
Yep.
I imagine there's some tale-telling competition between them, and so Tolman will be his fellowship focus. As they're spending a lot of time together, a lot of summer together. Gert is also going to raise his wisdom by 2. I'm going to spend 8 points and take the friendly and familiar virtue, which means that he gets a little bit more stamina in a council setting. He's able to do one more skill than the maximum, and the people he encounters on the road are friendly to him. That's, I don't think that's an automatic, since I travel with 2 rangers and a whiny kid, so.
Yeah.
But the general disposition is, I guess, friendly to him. Gert's going to twofold. He's going to strengthen the fellowship. He spends a lot of time thinking about how strong everyone that he kind of grouped up with has proven themselves to be, and not mentally, and their heart and the things that they accomplished. So I think that'll raise the fellowship rating by plus one. I don't know
until the next fellowship phase. Yep.
Yeah. He expresses that obviously by spending a lot of time in the Prancing Pony with Tolman, drinking, smoking, and telling stories, and he's kind of had his eyes opened with that last encounter that, you know, his life is precious to him, but he's also taken some things for granted while he's been on the road. So he spends a good amount of time explaining to his wife about the beautiful woman that stayed in their home while she was out of town, and the two rangers that were hanging around, and where all the sausages went, and the dwarf that came by and kind of took some important accounting papers and turned them into a map. Gert didn't realize that they were important papers. He doesn't do a lot of the bookkeeping. So it's mostly a summer of family and having Tolman be around his family, his children, and remembering kind of they're giving him back his strength that he kind of spent on the road. So they spend a lot of... Hold on. What's up? No, I'm good, thank you. His wife offers him a snow cone, but he steadfastly refuses.
I wouldn't mind another if that's all right.
Tolman is welcome to another snow cone. So Gert kind of sees they got a dog too. Gert kind of sees that Bree, as he loves it, is kind of ignorant in the ways of the greater world, and having, in his mind, having faced down the greatest evil that exists in the lands, this wasn't like just a bandit on the road or a wild wolf or something that he's seen before. This was what he saw in those barrows was true heroics, and it made him realize that maybe he can't change the way that Breelanders feel about rangers, but he could subvert things a little bit. So he wrote a song as well, maybe inspired by Tolman.
I think you were jamming. I think you guys.
I think honestly we spent a lot of time at the Pony working and networking. But so he wrote a song about the Rangers of the North and how they protect everyone, even those that don't necessarily appreciate it or even know about it. And so that song is As You Lie Sleeping. And I think, I don't really know if it's meant to be a combat song, or I forget what the other kind of song is.
Council Combat Journey.
Oh yeah, councils. Yeah, I don't know if it would be a council song or a combat song. It's kind of meant to portray the... Well, if you understand the song, you understand that it's about the Rangers of the North. If you are the sheriff of Bree, you may think the song is about you. So that's kind of what Gert was going for, that he could openly sing this song a lot in the tavern, but that the people would think of themselves, unless they knew the Rangers and they knew what the Rangers were doing. So as you leave Bree, it might be a little bit more, but it's also to let Arthaniel and Esteldor know that Gert sees what they're doing, and in that way, it kind of strengthen the fellowship too. So,
okay, I will need you to choose which type of song it is.
Let's see. So, Well, I'll sing a little bit, and you tell me what you think it is.
Okay.
How's that? As you sit by the hearth and drink your night beer, there's never a doubt, nor moment of fear. But how do you know the shadow won't fall on you and your kin as your bed starts to call? And as you lie sleeping, there are lights in the dark that follow the stars and keep you from harm. And as you lie sleeping, they stand in the black to keep watch alone with a wall at their back. Sorry for my horrible singing, but there you have it.
That's good, man.
That's excellent. I think
As out of tune as maybe Gert would have sang it, but
I think that's a combat
That's
song.
great.
I
I think
think so.
that sounds like a lay, but I don't know.
Okay.
Sounds good.
What do we reckon? It's it's not for me to decide. Those who think lay, raise your arms. Those who think combat, raise your arms. Oh, Jesus Christ, this is fucking democracy. This is the problem with it right there.
This is
isn't
it. They're not even voting.
Gabe gets the final call, surely.
Yeah, okay. Call it for us.
It's meant to enhearten. It's kind of specifically meant to enhearten the Rangers, that they understand what they mean. And so, since Rangers don't hang out in councils a lot, I would say that they would maybe sing this to themselves while they're fighting, or they would rather hear this while they're fighting. I don't know. It's a good... Yeah, I don't know. It's also meant to be sung around the inn and make people think about maybe why they get to enjoy the life they get.
So I think it would be a song of victory. I think just because it can be sung in other contexts, it's calling martial arms, isn't it? It's kind of like, representing those that defend you on your behalf when you may not even be aware of them. So I think song of victory.
Okay. Yep. I'm good with that.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So
yes,
Gert.
And your wife did come back with the kids, and they're overjoyed to see you. Her parents have kind of settled down a little bit more, overcome that brief need that she had with them. Is she going to come around in the duration of the fellowship phase, given that you had that lovely lady staying with you when she wasn't there, all the sausages were eaten, and you did trash all of last year's accounts? It's hard to say. But more so, Bree is alive with scurrilous rumours. Certain members hightailed it out of Bree all at the same time. The Rangers fled. You guys left. But also, some less savoury elements seem to have fled at the same time. A couple of thugs known around about town, and also one of the guys off of that row, Townmaster's dad, seems to have fled as well. Certainly nothing's been, no hide nor hair, left his daughter behind, who's been taken in by other families on the row. All created quite a lot of questions. You were questioned when you returned to understand, what role you may or may not have had within that. The steward of Bree is worried about what's happened, but the keeper of the dwarf house that Barnack was staying at, reasonably well respected in Bree for a dwarf, he offers quite a comprehensive character assassination of the dwarf that was missing, and there's some suggestion, and he had been seen exchanging monies with these other Bree folk, so the balance of blame lands on that dwarf's shoulders rather than on the rangers, though they've done nothing to improve their reputation within Bree. Okay, Gudrun, over to you.
So, Gudrun. It was a clear spring day. The new leaves in the trees were bright, and their color infused a sense of joy and peace in Gudrun's heart. When Gudrun greeted her friends and left Bree riding towards the Shire, Nanna smoothly trotted along the way, as though for some unknown reason she felt at ease going westward, treading the ancient stone of the West Road. Horse and rider were approaching the high gate by the bridge of Stone Bow that crossed the Brandywine when, for Gudrun's surprise, an old thrush perched in front of Gudrun right on Nanna's head. "Pleased to meet you, my featherless lady. I've flown far and wide to find you. I'm very happy to find you in the hand," chirped the bird with his clear musical voice. Well, musical, give or take. But how you are speaking, stuttered a flat-footed Gudrun to the bird, who, in the meanwhile, was preening his feathers with his beak. "Of course I do, and you too, it seems. But let me introduce myself and the reason of my flight. I've been requested by your father, an old friend of my family, to tell you that you are becoming an aunt, and that if you come back home, you'll be forgiven for your sudden leaving, even because your sister Astrid asked you to be her child's sponsor." So it was that Gudrun turned Nanna and went across the mountains back home. There, she didn't even go home, but directly went to her sister's house. The baby was born a few days before, but the ceremony hadn't still taken place. And she take the little plump baby on in her arms, and there was Thomas behind them, and she was moved, and for a brief moment she thought she doubted of her decision to go adventuring instead to get married. But it was just a brief moment. Then she came back to her previous proposals. But that spurred another idea in Gudrun's heart. And looking at Thomas, she said, "Thomas, my knight, I have a very important quest for you. I ask you to be the knight of and defensor of my nephew here." And so, in her heart, she elected Thomas as the son that she would never had. Silently electing as her heir. And that was my first undertaking, by the way.
That's lovely.
And afterward, she met also Gandalf. I don't know where. You can help me in this case. Maybe on the way back, Bree, or maybe in Dale itself.
In Dale, Gandalf likes Dale.
Okay.
You will
So,
maybe on the blue road one gorgeous morning, the light spilling over into the pale stones. The city's not really woken yet. There's a dull mist just coming off of the mountain and down by the banks of the river. And there is the Grey Wanderer, breathing in the morning.
Gudrun, when she saw him, Gudrun tried to turn her way to hide herself because she was a bit awkward. She didn't accomplish her mission. In fact, she didn't bring the parcel to be able back, and so she was afraid to be asked about it. But then Gandalf called her and
Gudrun! Gudrun! Hurry!
Master Gandalf, what a surprise to find you here.
On a beautiful day like this, it's absolutely lovely in Dell. Look at all the fresh air, the birds. It's so warming in the sun. 18 to 20 degrees is really my sweet spot, Gudrun.
Yes, but about birds, I have a question for you, in fact.
Of course.
I'm very lucky to have met you. Don't think I'm crazy, but I think I can understand the talking of birds. Is I'm just become crazy, do you think, or that's something possible?
He takes out his pipe. I don't know what you are smoking, Gudrun. Lies it.
By the way, this is my virtue.
I think it's... He sits down on the wall. And what do these birds say to you, dearest?
But just the bird asked me to come back home, I think.
Well, if you observe the bird saying this to you, then you can speak to birds.
In fact, I spoke to a bird, but I had never tried to speak to other birds. Do you think I should try?
Oh, definitely. I'm a big fan of moths myself, but birds are good too. There's a lot of wisdom in birds. There's the ravens in the mountain. The eagles are splendid. I think that it's eminently sensible that one as well travelled as yourself would find that you're able to converse with all of the peoples and creatures on this earth. I know others of the wise who speak with many creatures. Radagast the Brown. Though he may be done a disservice because they don't live in his hat. So I think that you can talk to birds. If birds talk to you, do they understand when you talk back to them?
Yeah, it seems so.
Then I think it's entirely fine, and you are not crazy at all.
Oh, I'm quite relieved. But nevertheless, I think I won't say it to anyone, and try to keep it a bit, inconspicuous.
Keep it under your hat, as they say.
Well, and
lovely work with Thomas.
you know it. Oh, well. Maybe Gudrun should a bit blushed now. Yes. Well, you know, I felt a bit responsible for him because, well, I thought his family was not appropriate for him, and they were pushing him on bad ways and bad habits. So I don't know if I did the right thing, but maybe I act a bit on impulse.
Well, I think everybody needs to know a little bit of love in their lives, and that's what you gave him. So, well done, Gudrun, well done.
And about your mission, I'm afraid I'm still on the way to accomplish it.
It'll get done when it gets done. A wizard's parcels are never late. They arrive precisely when they intend to.
Oh, great. So, if I can thank you. I offer you my service. If I can do something for you, I'm very happy to.
This is interesting.
So, to repay your kindness.
Sorry?
To repay your kindness. I mean.
Oh, well, my kindness is freely given, of course. Now, let me think. Whereabouts you headed to next?
Oh, I'm heading back to Bree to meet again my friends and, well, obviously to bring the parcel to the famous Bagnes.
Ah, yes. Okay. Well, let me think now. What small undertaking could you do for me? Well, there is something actually. I'm quite partial to frog leg soup. In Frogmorton, you will find in the inn there, they're trying all kinds of ways to get frog legs into their meals. And I've found exactly the right spice, and he pulls out a kind of small set of sachets. I think that this is what they'll need. So if you could deliver this there for them, there's enough there for them to experiment with, so that when I come past next to go and see my old friend Mr. Baggins, that they'll have had time to perfect it. So maybe Gudrun, you could drop that in for me. What do you say?
Oh, sure, I will do.
Fantastic. And if you are able to, then if you get to the high points of the mountains, the misty mountains, and you call out into the winds, then maybe, just maybe, some of the great eagles will hear you. And I would say, Gudrun, that is something that all of us should see. All of those that reside in this world, one moment. You don't have to do it straight away, but it's an experience worth going for. And for those of us that are able to speak to these creatures on their own terms and their own language, there's wisdom to be found there. But for the moment, I need to go and take some ablutions and get one of those pasties that everybody talks to me about from the market square here. I hear they're wonderful. Oh, by the way, just keep you.
I wish you a good day, Mr. Gandalf.
Oh well,
I'm very pleased to have
very
met
well.
you here.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Just keep out of the golden sheaf. It's ruinous of reputations. And he kind of like heads off. Is that okay? Is that what you wanted from that undertaking?
Good Gandalf.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Good Gandalf.
Yeah, top work. Top work.
You gotta. It's when you're bringing out the big guns, isn't it? You kind of like shit. Can I do a Gandalf? I don't know. Sorry, Gudrun. Was that what you were? Was that sufficient for what you wanted to do there? Is there anything more that you'd wanted to do? Either that.
Oh, sure. I don't know if this becoming having met a patron, this could become the patron of the company. So give 2 fellowship point more.
Yep.
To the company.
So Gandalf is willing to adopt the company. Certainly through Gudrun, he's been keeping his eyes and ears open for what you're doing there. Gave you a little bit of advice, gave you some support. So absolutely. Patron. Just 2 fellowship points. Cool.
For the rest, Gudrun improved her explore skill and awareness skill.
Very good.
Rises her wisdom after all these frightening experiences, and surprisingly acquired this quality, this virtue, to be able to speak to any birds.
So having equipped this ability, having obtained this ability, you can listen into the chirping of the sparrows, which is all very domestic. It's all about food and young and those kind of minor inconveniences, but form the framework of the world. The thrushes love to sing, but you sometimes wish that you couldn't understand what they heard and could just listen to the melody, because again it can be a little bit banal what they're singing about. But then you get to the buzzards and the falcons and the eagles, and their songs are echo the pride and the grandeur that they are. You can only imagine what one of the great eagles and the wisdom that they would carry. And not just that, but being able to talk to them, they're very, very interested in your side. Takes a little bit. They don't maintain masses of concentration, but small tasks they can be given and they'll perform. But they want food. Seeds, worms, bread. That's what they're really after. Good stuff. Okay, so that's a fellowship phases over.
Can I do mine now?
Oh, sorry. Do you know what? Completely got me. Esteldor.
Let me quick.
What a Breelander.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just go through what Esteldor does.
Yeah.
So Esteldor travels with Arthaniel back to his people's little hidden encampment where we make a permanent camp. It's not far off from the main hidden ranger settlement in Cardolan. Esteldor introduces Arthaniel to his ranger captain, who might be able to help him out with what he needs to know. I'd say I bid Arthaniel well and go off and find my family who are in the camp. So Esteldor will go and find Omarthon, who is his father, and his mother, who is called Rivalwen. His father's still recovering from the orc attack. That's the reason why Esteldor took over his father's job. So you want to go and make sure he's okay if he's recovered. I don't know if he has or not, Paul. That's
He's
your guess.
he's on the way to recovery, but it's much slower than you would have hoped. His eyes are slightly sunk and his skin is still a pale colour, but is stronger than when you left. And the wound seems to be cleaner, though it still bleeds every now and again. As you kind of get there, Riverwind's just changing the bindings, kind of giving him some soup. Ah! She comes over. Esteldor! And she gives you a big hug and holds you back. My, you've grown. Not taller, but you've seen things. And your father stands up and kind of comes over. He kind of grasps you and clasps you. It's a weak grasp. And both of them...
I'm careful not to like squeeze him too hard.
Both of them just look a little bit older, greyer, more weary than you remember them ever being. You've been away before and come back, but this time they come back and they just look. They look old to your eyes. Almarthan takes his hand back and he's got a little bit of a shake. He kind of sees you seeing it and he kind of puts his hand behind his back.
I'll try and not mention it, I suppose, and then I'll be like, Mother, can you help me repair some of my armour? And I'll show off where I've been cut in loads of different places from those undead soldiers.
All the time. You just go away and all you do is you bring me back baskets full of laundry. This is...
No, I'd want to... Like,
I've taught you how to darn socks, how to fix armour out in the field, but no, you always bring it back to dear old Mama. Right, well, I tell you what, I'll fix your armour. Go and get the firewood.
Oh, something I'm good at, okay. Yeah, I'll go off and fetch the firewood, and when I bring it back, I'd
What did these wounds, Esteldor? These are not the marks of orc kind, or bear, or wolf.
No, they're not, no. I met a group of like-minded people in Bree.
In Bree?
Yes, in Bree. A fellow ranger, I brought him back with us. His name's Arthaniel.
Oh, he must be from a different enclave.
Yes, he's some pauses to think where did Matt say he was from. Map. Matt, did you say you're from Arthaniel?
I think he's saying yes.
Yes, sorry, yes, I'm scrolling and scrolling. Hang on. Yes, it's there's a little place called bloody Canas Kelernan, I think. I don't know why I picked these names. It's like it's a town. I think it's at the estuary of the Loon.
Riverwind looks to Almarthan and she's like, and Almarthan says, "Just be wary, Esteldor. They are bloodthirsty. They are aggressive from there. They think with their swords, not with their brains."
Well, I was quite impressed actually. He managed to take out a Barrowite. That's how I got his wounds.
Barrowite.
Yes, we were fighting the undead. It was not good.
Did they touch you?
The undead soldiers did. That's what caused this. I pointed at the cuts on my
Riverwind kind of like opens up your eyes and no, he is fine. He's not been affected by the shadow.
I did find something and I rummaged in my bag. And it's all wrapped up and so I can't touch it, but I'll pull out the crown. I'll go, we myself and Arthaniel, we did return to the Barrow to recover lost artifacts, what we found. He has taken a sword. He's going to take. I've left him with, like I said, I've left him with the captain.
It would not surprise
To
me
help.
that a man from that area would take the weapon.
And I've recovered this crown from the ancient king. What's his name now? Arthaniel. What was his name called? Argaleb. Was it Argaleb, wasn't it? King
Yes.
Argaleb. Yes. We believe he may have fought the body of King Argaleb. So yeah, I've recovered this crown. Do you know who you can send it off to? Maybe back to the Haven.
Yes. Yes. Let me speak with the chief here, the captain of our band. From a barrow height.
Yes. When I first touched it in the tomb, it did give me vision.
It is known that when Arnor fell, the Witch King of Angmar used his sorcery to disrupt and disturb our dead, to turn them against us so that they would rise and would deface our histories. This will have been infected by his sorceress, and we must therefore think carefully about it. Does this Arthaniel have the sword still?
I believe so. I left him with the captain. I just let him do his thing.
Let us. Are you happy for us to take the crown and take it to the Enclave?
Yes, of course.
Then let us do that. We will speak with the captain and see what we can do.
And I also report back that I would have also explained that we followed the map, which was in possession of a Bree man, which took us to the barrow. And I'd also explain we came across some people from Farbad. They were digging around in the around the barrows, which we greatly disapproved of. We managed to convince them to leave and not take anything with them. So I would like that to be passed back to.
Indeed, we shall tell the captain. There's always been some trouble at Tharbad. That's an in-joke for anybody who plays Lord of the Rings LCG.
So I'm on a list of what I'd be doing.
But sit there, Esteldor. Have some stew. Rabbit stew.
I miss just stew. I'll start eating his mother's stew.
There's
While I'll be eating, I'll just...
Nothing better than stew that your mum has made for you. Fire that the sun has created. Is there, Almathon? Almathon's like, yes, love, yes, that's right. Yes, I put the bins out.
I just think it'll just continue on into the night as he talks about each the party members. He lists them off. Oh yeah, we fought with a great man from Bree. He sells some good beer. As I'm eating, I'm saying. And explains a nice lady from Dale.
Your mum's ears perk up at this nice lady from Dale. Oh, yes, really? What kind of qualities did she possess?
She actually impressed me. She put people in their place. I'd say that.
Excellent.
And there's a dwarf from Eriador. He was a nice chap.
Where are your treasures around the dwarves?
Oh no, he was integral in helping us to get this to the tomb.
Ah, excellent.
Good. Yes, his whole plan. But yeah, that'll carry on like that for the night, and then the next day he would go and sit under a tree on his own, and I'd do my free fellowship action, which, being a champion for some reason, it's write a song. So
Everybody's in with the songs.
he'll find a nice large tree, sit under it, with the skin of some kind of alcohol, maybe, whatever we've got in the stores, and a bit of cheese and bread, and he'd take out his little notebook where he'd made some notes previously about what we'd up to, and he'll write a lay so I can use it in councils. I haven't got a name yet for it, but basically it would be describing everything that we've done, like troll slayers, white slayers as we are. I'll try and put into like a proper like a lay eventually. I struggled to actually think of actual words like, to recount in game.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can use that for councils. He'll spend the day under this tree, and then he'll following a few days he'll catch up with some of his friends. His friends who he patrols the borders of the Shire with. So they've got names. His childhood friend Esteldor is a man with dark hair, a bit of like stubble. There is Harnor. He's another friend. He's got like a dirty blonde hair, like a short beard and moustache. He's an older person at this group. Another man called Bronador. He's got black hair. He's quite pale and got like, angular features. Maybe some kind of like elf lineage, maybe. Nobody really knows about Bronador. And then the final person is a female ranger. Her name is Lithril. She's the same age as Esteldor, and she's another childhood sort of friend. And I'll be chatting to them. And in game terms, this is the gathering rumours I'd do. But I'd be specifically asking if they've heard anything more about the orcs that attacked our group and wounded my father.
Yeah. Okay. So so I think the lay should go. Let us tell you who we are. We have travelled near and far. We are troll slayers, and we've also slayed whites, and that means that we're all right. I think that's how you should introduce yourselves for a council. Maybe not. Anyway, right. I think this is going to have to be called the Book of Songs. This episode. So gathering rumours, right? Okay, so the group are inherently a serious group. Kind of like everything's quite intense. I think with this group, there's humour and playing around and stuff, but they see you guys see yourselves as the upcoming wave of rangers moving through, starting to take on more responsibilities. Lithiel says, we think that they travelled south, down past Bree into the lands beyond. Aye, Tarnor says, met up with some wolves, some wags, basing themselves south of Bree, opposite the old forest. Don't know why they're down there, Lithiel says. They're stirring in the south. There's been a black ship sighted off the coast, or so the rumours would say.
Black ship?
Aye. Tarnor says there's been a black ship sighted off the coast every year for the last 15 years, Lithiel. Yes, but the rumours this time, Tarnor, they're growing in number, the stronger. Let us deal with what we can deal with, Branador says. Definitely we tracked the orcs south, down past Weathertop. There was a few more skirmishes. and then we lost them in the Stonelands to the south of Bree. We know that there's been increased wolf activity there, and we know that there is a pack leader amongst those wolves.
Yes. The people I have been with, we also heard wolves. The wolves took the troll that we killed, but they seemed to leave us alone, which was lucky for us.
Strange. This group, do you have a name yet? It's slightly awkward to keep saying this group that I was with.
Well, it's not something that we've discussed really. Maybe next time I meet up with them in Bree, we can discuss it.
You've been into Bree.
Oh yes, that's where we met. That's where I met them. Yes.
What was Bree like? I hear it's not welcoming to us.
Hoofs. Not really. No.
You can't spell stranger without ranger, is what I heard.
That's what the little children were saying. Yes, I could hear them. They didn't think I could hear them, but I could.
Tana says, "What were they chanting ranger danger again?" Every single time I've been past anywhere near that, that's all I can hear.
Exactly, they were.
Those Bree folk need to take a long, hard look at themselves and understand who it is that allows them to keep their cattle, keep their sheep, keep themselves safe.
Well, exactly. That's what I tried to explain to some of them. But we got through to two people actually. Have you ever heard of Gert Gendry? He's from Breeze, a travelling.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
He's part of our company, and we also took on a young lad called Thomas.
Oh, Thomas! Oh, you should have said.
Wait, do you know Thomas?
Oh, his name is no far away. Thomas Lynx Hunter. Oh, what a man he is.
Looks confused.
No, sorry, that's just me playing it. No, they've not heard of Thomas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he was very negative to start off with about Rangers, but we turned him around. I taught him some things.
What things?
He's gone off on his own.
I bet he taught him to collect wood and light fires.
Just like, yeah.
Always the wood and the fires with you, Esteldor.
It's the main thing that keeps him alive. If he doesn't have a fire, he dies.
Yes.
But he's gone off on his own adventure with I don't know. Actually, he might have gone off with one of our company.
You know he went with Gudrun and Barnack.
Oh yes, he went off with Gudrun and Barnack, the dwarf.
And where are you stationed next?
Well, once we've done here, I'm back onto my patrol on the Shire border until I'm needed again. I think we're gonna meet in Bree after a few months again. Gudrun, she needs to get into the Shire, so we're going to help her.
Fantastic. Lithiel says, I'm being stationed to the east. We're going to go into the foothills of the mountains. An honourable but dangerous place, Tarnor says. Lithiel says, looks up. Grey eyes. I'm sure it'll be fine. We haven't patrolled that direction for a while. I'm going to go and see what changes that have been wrought out there.
Well, make sure to stay safe. And he says boys to me. He'd like because they're not really on like duty right now, so he'd just give them a hug each.
Yeah, they reciprocate.
Yeah.
Stay safe, Esteldor.
And then, yes, I'm sure with this new company, I'm sure I'll be fine. Then he'll go back to, like I said, doing his little patrol of the border of the Shire.
Yeah. Okay.
And then for my, I want to get another virtue, so I spend 8 of my points to be Wisdom 2, and I'll pick a Ranger virtue, which is going to be. It's going to be. Royalty Revealed. I'm going for. Once per combat, when I fight in an open stance, I can attempt the Rally Comrades combat task as a secondary action. And additionally, all members of the company, including myself, are inspired on all our rolls in the following round. I'll go with that one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So if I spend 8 points, does it matter which one, adventure points or skill points?
Wisdom needs to be adventure points, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
Skill points improve your skills. Adventure points of wisdom, virtue, and such like.
And
And
fighting
combat
skills, right?
proficiency.
Combat skills.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think I'd want to try and have at least a dot in song, I think, because I've got nothing as well. Is that 4 if I want to do 1 pointiness in a skill? Because I haven't done before.
Let's have a look.
There's a table. But
Yes.
it depends what level you have now.
If you have nothing, it's 4. Yeah.
Our song index. Any of us can sing any of our songs, right?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, in our experience, having 1 point in a skill is barely worth it, really. So it might be, I don't know. It's up to you, but if you're considering bumping skill song up as you progress, then go for it. But if it's just to have the 1 dot.
Yeah, we saw that play out when we each had 1 point in Valor and promptly failed our shadow tests. So.
Okay. Okay.
Just there was not really much chance.
My advice is up to you, but my advice is if you're going to go into song, make sure you keep feeding it and pumping it up. Don't just leave 1 dot in there and think it'll do much.
He's not wrong.
She can always keep singing.
Yeah. Okay. I'll leave that. I'll let you think about that, Esteldor. I don't need to resolve it right now. Okay. Okay. So, shall we take 5 minutes, refill drinks, and then just come back for an adventuring phase?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Sure.
Yeah.